You try something new, it works for a week, maybe two, and then it stops. And the question that creeps in afterwards is the worst one. Is it me or is it them? If you've ever thought that, you're not alone and you're not crazy and it's not you. Today, I want to show you why behavior management strategies stop working, what's actually happening underneath, and how to finally focus your energy in the right place so the results actually stick. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. You know, there was a season in my teaching career when I was exhausted, and I mean bone tired. I was repeating myself all day long, managing and correcting behaviors instead of teaching, and just trying to squeeze creativity into a curriculum that not only felt scripted and stiff, but some of it actually was scripted. And I kept thinking, is this just how teaching is nowadays? At that point, I had just about, 20 years in the classroom, and I knew that I did not want to become the teacher who just went into work and survived until June. So I had to make a decision, and I decided to stop waiting for things to just magically change. And I decided to put into practice what I had been teaching so many other teachers in workshops and courses and retreats for so many years, and figure out a way to bring some of that creativity and that joy that we would have in those workshops, bring that back to my teaching, because I knew that I was going to be the only one who would be able to do that for myself. And that is when I decided to build a reset. And that reset changed everything. Slowly, I started to figure out what were the most important parts that needed to be reset inside my classroom. And every time I started a new reset in my room, my kids were becoming calmer. I was feeling confident again, and teaching felt creative again. I was actually smiling while I was teaching more and more. And that's why I've now poured everything that I've learned and everything that I put together for myself into the classroom reset. Now, if you're wondering whether it's possible to feel excited, yes, I said excited about teaching again, I am telling you it is. I want you to come and check out the Classroom Reset at theinspiredclassroom.com/reset, RESET, and see if this is your moment to reset your classroom too. I've talked to so many teachers who have done everything right. They research, they plan, they commit, and by week 3, sometimes sooner, whatever they tried started to unravel. And I want to tell you something before we really go any further into this episode. The strategies don't fail you. Now you may be thinking, okay, Elizabeth, if it wasn't the strategy and you already said it wasn't me, then what is it? Is it the kids? Well, believe it or not, I'm not even going to blame the kids on this one. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a simple way to figure out exactly where to focus your energy so that this fall feels different starting on day 1 and lasts more than just the first week. So here's the thing I really want you to consider. The strategy isn't the problem. It's where you're focusing your energy. When something stops working in week 3, the first thing that most of us do is go looking for a better strategy, maybe even a new program or a different approach, something that we haven't tried yet. And I understand that instinct completely, because If it stopped working, well, something must be wrong with it, right? But here's what I've come to see over the 27 years I've been in classrooms, my own included, of course. Most of the strategies that we teachers try are not bad strategies. They're correct tools, but the energy is going in the wrong place. Our energy. Think about it this way. A hammer is a perfectly good tool, right? But if you're trying to tighten a screw, the hammer isn't the problem. It's where you're focusing your effort. No matter how good that hammer is, it's just not going to do the same job that you're wanting it to do. Behavior management, it works the same way. If your energy is focused on the surface, on the behavior itself, you'll manage that symptom just long enough for it to reemerge somewhere else. And that's exactly what week 3 starts to feel like, right? And that brings me to this. Behavior is a symptom, and symptoms always come from somewhere. When the same behaviors keep showing up no matter what you try, it's because the behavior is pointing at something underneath, something your behavior management strategy was probably never designed to actually address. Every behavior in a classroom traces back to one of 3 sources. Either students don't feel connected to you or each other, or they can't regulate their emotions or their energy yet, or they're not genuinely engaged in their learning. No matter how many years you have in the classroom, you always see this. Again, it's not a you problem. It just happens. It happens to me after 27 years. Just this past year, I had multiple examples of kids who were showing, well, we'll call it less than desirable behavior, okay? And those cute behavior tricks, the beans in a jar, the tallies on the board, even the negative consequences, they didn't really work. In one case, the disruptions ended up being about disconnection, not defiance. And once I mended that connection, the defiance left. It actually left. It was amazing. Once you know what is at the source of the behavior, or as I like to say, which leg of your classroom's tripod is wobbling, the behavior stops being a mystery, and instead it becomes the information you need. Now, if that sounds intriguing, I want you to join me for the Classroom Reset Challenge that's happening this July on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Because on day 1, we're going to do exactly this together. You're going to discover your CRE scores. This is a live diagnostic that helps you to identify which leg of your tripod is wobbling the most. Not in theory, but in your actual classroom with your actual students. It's 3 days, this challenge. 1 hour each day, completely free. I'm going to be giving you PD hours. And if you can't make it live, don't worry. Replays are going to go out after every session. If you're interested, I want you to grab your spot at theinspiredclassroom.com/challenge. Of course, the link will be in the show notes too. I'd love to see you there because we're going to really dig into this. Now, let's talk about something I hear all the time, and that is that your school is implementing a new program or a new initiative to help with student behavior. Have you been down that road before? Maybe you're heading into that road. Maybe it's to support social emotional learning or some kind of school-wide program. And I know there's nothing wrong with that in general, except those programs don't necessarily take into consideration you and your classroom and your specific students. Now, I'm in the middle of saying something that's, maybe a little controversial. You can hear the hesitation in my voice. I'm about to say something possibly obscene, but the chances are that if you've listened to me so far, you probably agree with me because a lot of teachers that I talk to have this similar thought. Simply adding new programs to a classroom does not automatically fix individual behaviors. Adding in a 30-minute-a-week kindness lesson is not going to help Johnny engage better with the math class that he literally will say out loud that he hates. but it might take away time that you need in your classroom to teach your content. Our schools often get this wrong when they're trying to address this type of thing. They slap an entire program on top of the teachers when what really needs to happen is you need to understand how to look at behaviors and see what might be happening underneath them so that you can address them head on. Heck, we're in the classroom with these kids. Train us, right? We should be trained on this stuff. And I'm not saying that your job is to do this in a punitive or consequence-driven manner. Instead, my approach, which is through the reset framework, is to do this type of work in a proactive way in your classroom before the behaviors even start. That's how you can transform your classroom and really start enjoying your teaching again. A new behavior chart, it really doesn't build trust, nor does a fancy new program. Instead, consistent, warm, specific connection is going to build to trust. And that's a completely different kind of energy, one that doesn't feel like behavior management at all, but is actually the most powerful kind of energy that you can put into this. And here's the thing that really helped me to see this different. Wasting your energy on those programs and things that are not working, that's exhausting. But the focused effort that you might take, it isn't. And that's something I'm actually going to be addressing inside the Classroom Reset Challenge. Wasted effort is exhausting. Focused effort isn't. And I mean that genuinely. The reason so many of us walk into September already feeling tired is because we've spent years pouring energy and so much effort into the symptom of the behavior. Redirecting, giving consequences, managing. It takes enormous energy to manage something over and over that was never going to stay managed. But when you know which leg in your classroom's tripod is wobbly, when your behavior management energy is going to the actual source, oh my gosh, things start to shift in a way that doesn't feel like so much work. Because you're no longer swimming against the current. You're actually working with what students of today actually need in the classroom. So I want to ask you something. When something stopped working in your classroom, what was your first instinct? Did you blame the strategy? Did you blame the kids? Or did you go looking for a new program or a new set of activities to try? And believe me, I am not asking you these questions to shame you. I'm asking you these questions because I've been there and I've done all of the above. Sometimes I have to catch myself from doing it even now. But here's the thing. Your answer might actually tell you a lot about which leg of the tripod has been pulling your energy away this whole time. So here's something I really want you to take into your first 2 weeks of school, because those first 2 weeks, they're telling you something, if you know how to listen. So instead of measuring week 1 and even week 2 by whether your behavior management plan is quote unquote working, measure them by what they're showing you. Which students are struggling to connect? Which are escalating whenever you have a transition? Which of your students look capable but are really just not participating that much? Week 1 and 2 aren't a test to see if you're passing or failing. They're a diagnostic. And if you walk in knowing what to look for, knowing which leg of the tripod each behavior is pointing at, you're not scrambling anymore. Instead, it's like you're reading a map. You're figuring it out, right? You're solving the mystery. And that is exactly what we'll do together at the challenge. I'll show you how to use what you see in those first couple of weeks so that the information works for you and not against you. So here's what I want you to do before you head into the fall. And this is going to be especially helpful to those of you who are signing up for the challenge. Please sign up for the challenge. The first step is I want you to think. I want you to reflect a little. I want you to call to mind the behaviors that kept coming back last year, no matter what you tried. And if you're listening to this inside the school year, think about the behaviors that are in front of you. Just sit with it for a moment. Don't judge it. Just notice, okay? The second step is I want you to make an actual list. A list of what you saw. Write down specific things that kept happening. Not your reaction to them, just what you actually observed. What did it look like? When did it show up? Which students did it happen to? Which moments of the day? The more specific, the more useful this is going to be. And then step 3 is I want you to bring that list with you to the challenge. I want to hear what you saw, because what you list in step 2 is exactly the kind of information that we're going to work together on in day 1. And you can even ask further questions about it on day 3. I'm going to help you figure out which leg of the tripod those behaviors are pointing at and then what to do with it. So come ready to share. That's your homework. Do these 3 things and sign up for the challenge. All right? You do need to sign up for the challenge, and you can do that at theinspiredclassroom.com/challenge. The link is below. I just said it to you as well, but I'll tell you, I cannot wait to see you there because we're going to get into some really good stuff. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.